Good morning out there in the DFS community. It's Vaughn, the Stat Man, coming into your YouTube airwaves, and welcome to the Stat Room. All right, ladies and gentlemen, tonight was one of the weirdest nights that I can remember playing fantasy. You know, I tell you guys the truth. I don't run from, a bad night. But tonight, I based a lot of my lineups around the Utah Clipper game because without Blake Griffin and without Rudy Gobert, that meant that both of these teams would run more. If you look at the pace of these two teams over the past two games, they actually had a faster pace than the Chicago and Boston series. So that's why I picked DeAndre Jordan. I never play DeAndre Jordan if I know Rudy Gobert is playing, and I'll never play Rudy Gobert against Jordan because since they're defensive specialists, they neither would have a good night. If you look at them against each other when they've always gone head to head, DeAndre Jordan averages about 27 points, Gobert averages about 25. So when they're against each other, you don't see the highlights. So I was like, okay, I'm going to pick DeAndre Jordan because no Gobert. Okay, after the game's locked at 3:30, at 7 o'clock, Gobert went from doubtful typically means not playing, to questionable. Then at 8 o'clock, Gordon Hayward is diagnosed with the flu. So I'm like, man, anybody with common DFS sense knows that if Gordon Hayward doesn't play, you automatically play Joe Johnson. But if Gordon Hayward is playing, Joe Johnson's usage goes down. So once the game started, you saw Hayward try to give it a go. He played 2-3 minutes, got 4.4 points, and he was sick, thrown up in the locker room. He was done. Hey, it happens in fantasy, man. I don't got no control over a guy getting sick after lock. I don't got no control over the guy that's not playing, and then an hour before lock, start playing. That's what happens in fantasy. That's the reality in fantasy. And then with him out and with Gobert in, that lowered Dial's usage. See, I was going to play Dial because I know that when Gobert is not in the game, that his usage goes up. And I'm like, Dial going to get me 20 tonight, easy. But then with Gobert starting, that puts Dial at the small forward. It means Dial has no chance to get a rebound with Gobert in there. So that hurts him right there. And then Favors is the star. He comes off the bench. So that killed Dial. So that's what killed my night. But if Gobert doesn't play and Hayward stays in, we're looking at a really good night. But like I said, that's fantasy. Anyway, guys, so I'm going to, like I said, I'm on to tomorrow already, guys. I'm on to today. All right, guys, so I'm going to get right into my 4 horsemen for today. All right, so for my 4 horsemen for today, I'm going with point guard Dennis Schroeder. I'm going with shooting guard Bradley Beal. I'm going with small forward Kelly Oubre. And power forward Draymond Green. All right, guys. Earlier someone asked me a question. Who I looked up to growing up. I looked up to my moms, guys. I grew up in the projects down in Lexington Terrace. That's Baltimore. That's where if anybody ever watched The Wire, I grew up down there where those high-rise buildings are. And my mother, never took welfare. She worked a job full time. She went to school full time. She raised me full time, made sure I ate every single solitary night. So she's my mentor, guys. She's the one that I look up to the most. But other than her, I'm a big fan of Kevin Hart. This guy's a self-made guy. Well, he's a team-made guy. He had a team of guys that helped him, and he gives them guys credit. And he doesn't talk bad about people. And since he's at the top, everybody pop shots at him. And that's what happens. When you're good at what you do, other people who do what you do that doesn't have the skill that you have, they pop shots at you. That's life. So if you don't want to have shots popped at you, don't do anything great, because that's going to happen if you become great at what you do. All right, guys, so I'm going to leave it there. If you have any questions on what I can do to get better, let me know. Just send me any questions. I'll answer those questions. Hey, if any of you guys have any businesses that you run, let me know. I'll give you guys a shout out. I'll help to promote your business, since this is a community here. We're all one. We are one here. All right. Love you guys. Enjoy the rest of your day.